Well, Dylan, I just want to get your take on the season. I mean, ample amount of time with the IceHogs and the Chicago Blackhawks. I know there's a lot of buzz of you arriving into your first professional campaign, and you got the Rookie of the Year honors here with the IceHogs. I mean, how do you assess your season?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to learn from this year. Obviously, your first year pros, it's a little different than what you're used to. But yeah, it's a long process, and fortunate enough to remain healthy this year and play. Yeah, like you said, a little bit up in Chicago, a little bit down here. It was fun. I think, like I said, there's a lot to learn from this season, and looking forward to the summer to get back in the groove of training and get ready for next year.
With all the buzz and your participation in the Blackhawks organization, what was the biggest lesson that you felt like you learned this year, whether it be on or off the ice?
Yeah, I think there's lots. I think, personally for me, I just found you really find out that it's a process and it's tough. And, in your first year, going up and down especially, it's tough. And, that's what it's going to be like for a couple of years. And you got to learn how to use that to your advantage. And I think, we did a good job this year. I think, credit to obviously all the coaching staff down here when Jeremy left, and it was kind of put in a tough spot there. And, when I was up there, I think Jeremy did a great job up there as well. So fortunate enough to have, great coaching staff, great players here. And, I think there's some things, even though we didn't make the playoffs in both teams, but there's some things you can learn from and be better at next year.
You found the scoring touch here in the American Hockey League with goals and points with your time with the IceHogs, but a handful of assists in 33-plus games with the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, what in this offseason are you looking to see transition well in terms of your offensive output to ultimately get a full-time role in the National Hockey League?
Yeah, I think, after your first year, you kind of know what you have to work on, and getting a chance to play up there, you kind of know your strengths and your weaknesses and what you need to improve on throughout the summer. And lucky enough for us, I think we'll have a nice 5.5 months to really grind down and bear down. And for me personally, I think it's going to be big in the weight room. And obviously, there's some things that I know I need to work on, and just a little fine tuning here and there. But I think at the end of the day, that's part of my game, so hopefully it'll come natural at one point. But yeah, obviously a little frustrating to have not scored up there, but something I'll be thinking about all summer long.
With your first pro year in your back pocket now, I mean, what do you look to maybe change up in terms of training routines or add to your training regiment that you may not have known last summer when you were getting ready for your first full year?
Yeah, I think, this summer I'm going to change gyms down where my high school is. Gary Roberts, he runs one of the best maybe in the world. I know he's got McDavid, Scheifele, guys like that there. So just for me, I think surrounding myself with those kind of pros on a daily basis and being in the gym with them and working out with them and, skating and just seeing their habits, I think that'll really help me, because there's a lot of things you learn in your first year pro that you didn't really know. And, try to be a sponge and try to learn as much as you can. So I think that'll be a big thing for me this summer is just learning from them and taking everything I can and just becoming a better, athlete and a hockey player.
What are some of the finer points that maybe some of your conversations and communications have been with the Hawks coaching staff, the IceHogs coaching staff and management that they want you to zero in on to help you be that full player and take that next step?
Yeah, I think there's just little aspects of the game, but I think, for me, I think producing points is something that, that's the kind of game I like to play and there's things I like to do. And when I'm not doing that for sometimes up there, I think you kind of lean on other aspects of your game. And I think personally, I grew, defensively. And, it's kind of tough to be a one-way player these days. You got to be dynamic. You got to be a 200-foot guy. And I think that's something that I improved on a lot this year and something that, I'll need to continue to improve on every year. And, I think sometimes your weaknesses you gotta improve on, but also your strengths you gotta really take advantage of that and try to make those better than most. So just things like skating, handling the puck, shooting, scoring, obviously, and like little things like that. I think everyone can use some work on.
Now you get to finally take a step back with your brother, who you got to spend a large part of the season with, and Tyler. I mean, is that going to be on the docket in terms of just being able to unwind together and maybe catch up? Because I know the season is a bit of a whirlwind, especially for you and all the movement that you've made.
Yeah, definitely. I think it hasn't really hit us yet that we're on our way out. But I think the next week or so, it's nice to go home. We haven't been home for a while and kind of unwind. And yeah, like you said, spend some time with my brother and my friends and family back home. And before kind of the grind starts again, we don't really have that long of a break here, but looking forward to like you said, unwinding, and it was a long year, and obviously this is the time we'd like to be playing, but this doesn't always happen in your favor.
And then I think if I saw correctly, RFA status for you, your brother UFA status. Is that something that is an open conversation for you guys in terms of trying to get a deal done and ultimately potentially seeing each other play together again?
Yeah, something kind of haven't really thought too much about or worried too much about. Let Stan and my agent obviously talk about that. But this is a place that I want to be in Chicago and in Rockford. And, it's a world-class organization. You get treated, even down here, you get treated maybe the best in the league as well. So it's a place I want to be. So hopefully we can work things out and I can stick around.
How much of an empty feeling is there when you don't make the playoffs and you really believed in the team and thought it was going to happen? I mean, what's the feeling like?
Yeah, it's tough because you're playing meaningful hockey a lot for the last 2 months, and then it kind of comes to an abrupt ending, and that's tough because some of the guys in here you're never going to play with or maybe even see again. So that part of the game is always tough when you're saying your goodbyes, and like I said, when it kind of just comes to an end all of a sudden. But it's something. It's a little motivation, something, because you want to be playing hockey at this time of the year. So that's something that we all need to work on, and obviously be better next year.